Hello, I'm your host, Bruce Gernon, and on this episode of a video we have, I'm going to be showing you a lot of videos that have been made about me over the past 15 years on YouTube. And I'm going to describe them as we go along, and you can check it out and see. The main topic is going to be something I call a time tunnel. That's a term that I recently thought of that scientists would rather hear than time tunnels. But to me, it basically was a time tunnel that I experienced in 1970. So I'm going to be showing you on the videos all these different views of concepts of what the tunnel looked like. And at the very end, we're going to have an exact replica that I created that shows what the tunnel really looked like. So we're going to roll this in a minute, and there's a lot of clips that have been done. Some of them have been watched millions of times. There's even one that has over 50 million views they've collected over the years. And the story is all about what I experienced. So this first video is going to be about a video that Arthur Clarke, Dr. Arthur C. Clarke, the famous scientist, he produced this video in 1973. And this was the first TV documentary that I've ever been on, and Dr. Clarke asked me to do it, and so I agreed, and we filmed it down in Islamorada in the Florida Keys. That's where I used to live, and we used my airplane. Back then I had a Cessna 210 Centurion. And you're going to see this video start off with Arthur Clarke explaining what it's about, and then you see me going on my airplane, and you notice that I mentioned electronic fog even way back in 1996 is when this film was actually produced or put on TV, and I was saying that even back then, and I created that term back in 1978, and so that's another thing we're going to be talking about, because this time tunnel is what creates the electronic fog. So I'm going to start this video now, and then I'll talk to you right after the first video is done of Arthur Clarke's presentation.
This is the notorious Bermuda Triangle. Since 1945, over 100 ships and planes are said to have vanished there, not only without trace, but often in mysterious circumstances.
Businessman Bruce Gernon commutes all over Florida in his private plane. There's one flight he'll never forget.
I encountered this cloud out over.
Gernon found himself flying along a tunnel in the strange cloud. It was just wide enough for his little plane.
It sort of had like a silver lining that you often see on clouds. And the other end was clear blue sky with the sun shining through. I had to concentrate very hard on the other end, which appeared to be like 12 miles away and narrowing rapidly. Well, when I came out, I couldn't see any horizon or the ocean or the sky. It was pure gray, and I'd call it an electronic fog. I think that when I entered that tunnel vortex, the aircraft was moved forward through time and space about 100 miles or 30 minutes or both. At the time, I felt I wouldn't have made it because it appeared to be a powerful electronic force that could have damaged the aircraft beyond repair and probably crashed. And the Bermuda Triangle may have claimed another victim.
All these different clips that have come from many different YouTube videos that are about me. And this part here is has to do with the storm. When I was inside this storm, I saw all these flashes, and they became so intense that I had to get out of them. And then here's the way I got out of them. I went through a tunnel. Well, this is a recreation of the Vortex tunnel that I flew through. Now, it was about 12 miles long, I estimated, and it took 20 seconds to fly through it. Now, here's another rendition of what it looked like, but it wasn't that dark though. And here's another one. There's all different ideas and animations that the creators came up with without consulting me, so some of them aren't too accurate. But this one's kind of pretty looking, but it looked a little like that. And now this one is an odd one here. It's similar in a way, but it's got a lot of curves in it. So the one I went through was perfectly horizontal and perfectly straight. And it looked a little like this one. This one's one of the most accurate ones. But here's another one just showing all these different clouds scattered all around while I was trapped inside this storm. And then this is shooting through there. See, they're going to show you the 20 seconds here is what it took me to fly through the 12 miles, which is impossible. But here's another one that's kind of cool where it shoots down through there. There wasn't any lightning, but this one's kind of an odd one. And here's where I came out of the tunnel. And there's that same one again that is a close rendition. And here's where I popped out of the tunnel and I experienced the zero gravity. And there's the tunnel. See how it's rotating counterclockwise? That's correct. And it didn't have any lightning bolts in it like that, though. Now, this is the exact rendition that I created. This is really what it looks like. And it took me 20 seconds to fly through it, and it's 12 miles long. And then you see it collapses, which most all these tunnels always do. They usually only last about 3 minutes, and then they collapse right here at this point. Now, this right here is 2 photographs that I captured in 1978, and they're the best photos ever taken of the tunnel vortex. And the photo on the right was taken 1 minute after the photo on the left. So this demonstrates what's going on and how these storms create a vortex tunnel. And there were actually 3 tunnels at one point in this series of storms. There were 4 storms lined up. And you can see these anvil heads form. Like on the one on the right, there's 3 anvil heads. With you see where the 2 on the left side are starting to get close together. Now, if you look on the photo to the right, you'll see that the anvil heads are almost ready to connect. And they would connect only a few seconds after that photo. They connected and formed a tunnel, in this case about 5 miles long. And now if you look at the storms just to the right of the tunnel getting ready to form, you notice that there is another tunnel, and that tunnel has already formed, and it's probably about 3 minutes old, and it's only going to last maybe another 30 seconds, and then it will collapse. But that's exactly what the tunnel looked like when I entered it. And then if you look to the right of that tunnel, you notice some white blotches. Well, I just recently realized, this is theoretical, but those white blotches that you see just to the right of the center tunnel may be the first photographs ever taken of electronic fog. Because what happened, there was a third tunnel, and when I took those photos, that tunnel collapsed. On the photo on the left, it collapsed right when I took the photo, and then on the photo on the right, you see there's sort of a line of it. It's changing its shape, but there's no wind, so it's probably going to stay there for a little while and maybe then drift down to Earth. And I call that electronic fog. And I've been studying this for 53 years now, and I'm trying to get the world to know how important this electronic fog is and how real it is. It's been controversial. There's a lot of people that don't believe it. A lot of people think they solved the mystery to the Bermuda Triangle by saying there's nothing there. Well, there is something there, and you're looking at it from these photos. That's what happens when that tunnel collapses. It creates this fog, and then that's what boats and planes have entered into. And this fog attaches to them, and nobody realizes that when they're in it, because it doesn't make sense. But it's similar to St. Elmo's fire, that attaches to you. So it's a meteorological phenomenon. You can check out my new book called Bermuda Survivor, and that's designed for student scientists. So maybe you can help me. I'm always coming up with new theories about this electronic fog because it's real. And that's why when I come up with a theory, it has to do with a real phenomenon. And I haven't explained some of these theories to you yet. And so you could help me by subscribing so we can continue to make these videos